Now that you've created your classes with MarkMate, you're ready to begin marking work. Simply select the class that you'd like to mark from your dashboard. The next thing we have to do is create a piece of work that we're going to mark and assess. And to do this, we need to click New Piece of Work. From here, we can give the piece of work a title. For example, I can write a story. The next thing we need to do is choose what we're going to assess within that piece of work. So with my students, I'd like to assess their use of adjectives and also their use of punctuation. Now, when I'm assessing this piece of work, I want to choose a grade that will show me what that student's attainment is. And this is what we call a grade set. So if I click here, I can select the grade set that I'd like to assess my students with. And I'm going to assess them with my Key Stage 1 and 2 Stepping Stones grade sets. And again, the use of punctuation, I'm going to assess them with the same grade set. Once I'm happy that I've created my piece of work and the 2 assessment objectives that I'd like to mark and assess, I can then save this work and begin marking. Now, what we're looking at is a list of all my students on the left-hand side and an area on the right to give my feedback, and in the middle are those 2 assessment objectives that I created to assess my students with. So now, if I click on a student, I can begin giving them feedback. Well done today! Exclamation mark. This is a fantastic piece of work and I'm really impressed by the quality of your writing, full stop. So here I've given them feedback for their overall piece of work. This is just what we call general feedback. But now I want to give them more specific feedback for each of these objectives. So if I click on Assessment 1, this is the use of adjectives that Anna's used in this piece of work. I'm impressed by the way you've been able to use so many adjectives in your sentences, full stop. Working towards. So here, I've given Anna feedback specifically about the use of adjectives, and I've given her a grading on how she's used adjectives in her sentences. And now I can go on to my next assessment, use of punctuation, and I can do exactly the same. It's clear that you have a good understanding of how to use a range of punctuation in your sentences, full stop. Greater depth. And now I've given Anna specific feedback for her use of punctuation in her sentences and also given her a grade judgment for that piece of work. If I click Save, now all of my feedback for Anna has been given. I've got all of my assessments for each of those individual objectives done, and at this point I'm ready to simply click Print to print my feedback.